Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. I hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am Mohammad Shahjahan, Assistant Professor, Department of Accounting, Milestone College, Uttara, Dhaka.
Dear student, today we will discuss chapter 11 and this is cost accounting. This is our second lecture. You know that last class we discussed what is cost accounting, how we can do the necessary formula we have discussed. Today we will solve a problem, direct math we will solve. Dear student, after this lecture you can able to find the amount of raw material used and prime cost. You can find the amount of factory cost and cost of goods sold, and at last we will find the amount of profit. Dear student, let's come to our class. Dear student, the following information are collected from books of accounts of Tarek Agro Limited. Some information is given here and the requirement is find the amount of raw material used and prime cost, the factory cost and cost of goods sold, and find the amount of profits. Dear student, let's come to the math. Raw material used. Dear student, last class I have discussed raw material used. All of you know that for preparing cost sheet, the first element of cost is raw material. That means how much raw material we use for the product. That means what is the raw material used for producing the goods. Dear student, here look, see the question. We have how much raw material? Look at, we have opening raw material. That means earlier from the last year we have received raw material of 25,000 and we have closing at the end of the year we have raw material 20,000 and throughout the year we purchased raw material 1,05,000. So dear student, how raw material used to come? Opening raw material plus purchase of raw material. That means whatever raw material we have to add whatever amount we have purchased. Then we have to subtract the closing raw material, then you will find how much raw material you used. That means very easy one. The formula is opening stock of raw material, opening stock of raw material. Last class also I have discussed opening stock of raw material plus purchase of raw materials, how much raw material we have purchased this year, then we have to subtract closing stock of raw material, then you will get the raw material used. Our next requirement was prime cost. Dear student, last class I have discussed, if you can remember, the formula of prime cost is raw material plus labor plus other direct expenses. Dear student, if you can remember, raw material used plus direct labor plus other direct expenses, then it will be prime cost. It will be formula of prime cost. So dear student, raw material used, it is 1,10,000. Raw material used, it is 1,10,000. 1,10,000. Look at from here 1,10,000. And direct labor, look at the question. Let's see the question. Direct labor 60% of raw material use. Direct labor is 60% of raw material use and other direct expenses is 10,000 directly given. So dear student, prime cost, the formula, again I am telling the formula. Last class also I have discussed the formula. Prime cost, raw material use 1,10,000, then direct labor is 60% of raw material use. So raw material used is 1,10,000 into 60%. Take your calculator, 1,10,000 into 60 divided by 100, then it is 66,000 direct labor and other direct expenses is 10,000. It is given in the question directly. Dear students, so 1,86,000 is prime cost. I hope all of you understand. Of course, if you have any confusion later on, you can make me phone call so that I can make you understand easily. Okay, dear student, our next topics, factory cost. If you can remember the formula, last class I have given you the formula. That's why I am telling several times. Last class you have to see the previous video, then you can easily understand. Last class I have discussed the formula of factory cost. It is prime cost plus factory overhead. It is prime cost plus factory overhead. That means whatever prime cost we have to add factory overhead with that, then it will be factory cost. Dear student, prime cost is 1,86,000 from requirement A we have got, and factory overhead, let's see the question. What about the factory overhead is given here. Look at, factory overhead is 25% of prime cost. Factory overhead is 25% of prime cost. So let's come to the solution again. Factory cost, prime cost is 1,86,000 and factory overhead 1,86,000 into 25%, that means 46,500, dear student. So factory cost is 2,32,500, 2,32,500. Our next requirement is cost of goods sold. This formula also I have given you earlier. Cost of goods sold, if you can remember, the formula of cost of goods sold is factory cost plus office and administrative overhead. Factory cost plus office and administrative overhead, then it will be cost of goods sold or cost of production. And office and administrative overhead, in the question it is said that office and administrative overhead is 20% of factory cost, 20% of factory cost. So 20% of factory cost is 46,500, dear student. That means cost of production is 2,32,500 plus 46,500, it is 2,79,000, 2,79,000. I hope all of you understand. Very easy one. Just if you know the formula, then you can solve the math. That's why again and again I am telling, at first you have to learn the formula, then how you can find out the cost of goods sold. It is factory cost plus office and admin overhead, and factory cost it is given in requirement B, and office and admin overhead is 20% of factory overhead. Factory cost it is given in the question. So total factory overhead is 2,79,000. Then, dear student, our next requirement is profit or loss. That means we have to find the amount of profit and loss. We have to find the amount of profit and loss. Dear student, again formula. Formula is that cost of goods sold at selling expenses, then it will be total cost. Cost of goods sold at selling expenses, then it will be total cost. Let's see the question, dear student. Let's see the question. What is telling about administrative overhead 20% of factory cost. Selling expenses and net profit have been determined 5% and 25% on sales. That means selling expenses is 5% on sales, and 20% net profit is 20% on sales. Dear student, let's come to solution. Dear student, cost of goods sold is 2,79,000, it is from B, and selling expenses it is 5% on sales. Dear student, if sales is 100, then selling expenses is 5, dear student, and profit is 20. That means if cost is 75, then our selling expenses is 5. So our cost is 2,79,000. So it is a simple math of unitary method. If you can remember, in unitary method, if selling expenses is 5, then cost is 75. If cost is 75, then selling expenses is 5. If cost is 2,79,000, then it will be 18,600. Take your calculator. Again, I am telling, if cost is taka 75, that time selling expenses is 5. If cost is 75, that time profit is 20. Then if cost is 2,79,000, then profit selling expenses is 18,600 and profit is 74,400. Dear student, cost of goods sold 2,79,000, then selling expenses 18,600. That means our total cost is 2,97,600. Total cost is 2,97,600 and profit is 20 by 75, it is 74,400. Therefore sales is 3,72,000. Sales is 3,72,000. I hope all of you understand, dear student. Again I am telling the full math, the formula. Again I would like to remember you the formula. How you can find out the raw material used? At first you have to add opening raw material with purchase of raw material, then you have to subtract closing raw material. Always in any math, in every math, you have to do this way: opening raw material plus purchase of raw material less closing raw material, then it is raw material used. Then what is the formula of prime cost? Direct materials plus direct labor plus other direct expenses, then it will be prime cost. Then how you can find out factory cost? Prime cost plus factory overhead. Prime cost plus factory overhead, then it is called factory cost. And how you can get cost of goods sold? Factory cost plus office overhead and admin overhead. Office overhead and admin overhead, then it will be cost of production or cost of goods sold. Then, dear student, how we can find the profit? Cost of goods sold, we have to add selling expenses with cost of goods sold, then it will be total cost. If we add desired profit, then it will be sales. If we have sales, then if we subtract total cost, then there will be profit. This way you will get the profit or loss. Dear student, full math completed by this. Dear student, if you have any types of confusion, of course you can discuss with me, you can share with me, you can make me phone call. I hope all of you understand. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.